LV here, and today we have another installment of
Did they do you dirty or not?
Did They Do You Dirty or Not? If you didn't watch the first episode of this installment, it's where people send me their slabs that they felt were severely undergraded. Slabs they were perplexed by. I look them over for free, sender just pays the shippings, and I review them closely under a nice light and give my opinion whether or not they did you dirty, a true undergrade, or whether the grading company did in fact get the grade correct. So unfortunately, no one sent me any of their undergraded slabs for me to review. I swear I'm not going to steal them. I just want to make a video out of them. However, I have some slabs I personally submitted and received back from PSA recently that I felt were extremely undergraded. So I will go over these, and because they are my own cards, I feel like it's only appropriate and accurate if another grading company tells us whether they did me dirty or not. So I cracked them out and sent them to SGC, which you will see the results included in this video later on. All right, let's get to it. All right, so the first card is actually a pretty interesting one. It's an Alex English, and they graded it a 7 with a mark. So for the longest time, I couldn't see the mark, and thankfully, an awesome viewer of my channel commented he saw it through the slab, through me filming, and they saw it, and I didn't. I can't believe I missed it. The mark is right here. See that? It's like a 7. Someone wrote a 7 indent into the card, so that is the mark. Ironically, it did get a 7 grade too. So a complete miss by me. Mistakes happen. It was my fault completely. I shouldn't have submitted this card. I just missed it. I don't know how, but I did. So in this case, PSA did not do me dirty. They got the grade correct. The grader got it correct. Nice catch by the viewer and by PSA. So my fault on that one, on the Alex English. I will not be cracking that one out because we know they got it correct. So next one, we got a Greg Anderson. So this is 88 Fleer. Looking over this pretty closely, and it is off a little bit left to right. I would say close to maybe 58, 42, somewhere around there. I still think it's at least within a mint 9 range. Corners are pretty sharp. I see one tiny fisheye right there. Other than that, I don't see much. I see a little bit. Maybe they thought this was kind of print loss, but this happens to like a little factory defect. Pretty minor. I don't think that should nail you to a 6. I really don't. Corners are pretty sharp. So this is a card I will crack out. I feel like it is a mint 9 card. So I think they did me dirty, but we will see what SGC thinks later in the video. Okay. Next up, we got this 87 Fleer Buck Williams. So top to bottom, it's really nicely centered. Left to right, it is off. I would say 60-40. 60 on this left side, 40 on the right. I'm not seeing much. A little minor print defect right there. It's pretty clean. Corners are sharp. I'm not seeing much. I really don't. Let's flip it over. The back looks pretty crisp too. Vibrant white. Yeah, I really don't. I don't see why they give it a 6. So my guess is I think this will be graded at least a mint 9. We will find out what SGC thinks, but I think this is another one I'll crack out, and we will submit. All right, next up we got the 87 Barry Carroll. This is one of those cards, if you get it in a 10, it's probably $1,000. Really low pop in a 10. Hard to grade. Centering is pretty close to 55-45. A little off, thinner on the left and the right, but top to bottom is great. I see a little bit of kind of snowing, a little bit of print defect on the top here, but not bad at all. The corners are sharp. So, and the back looks pretty good. The only issue I see is a little bit of excess red here. Might be common to the Barry Carroll cards. I might want to compare, but I see a little there. That might be where they're getting me. It'd be intriguing to see whether SGC causes that much of a grade. drop because of it, but we will find out because I'm going to crack this open. I think it is a mint 9 card, even with that little defect. We will see, though. All right, the next one is an 87 Darrell Walker, another interesting one because a viewer of my channel actually commented and caught an indent he thought was somewhere around here. That might be what he's talking about, but looking over there made me catch a few ripples. See that right here on this left edge? And wrinkles and ripples will get you 5s and 6s all day. So that is enough. I think maybe it could even be water damage or something. But that is enough to drop you to a 5. So PSA did not do me dirty. They got it correct. It was my fault again on this card. I shouldn't have submitted it. It's so nicely centered, and the back looked great. So I don't know. My eyes are just off a little bit and didn't catch it at the time. So this one I will not be sending to SGC because they truly did get it correct on this one. They didn't do me dirty on the Darrell Walker. Finally, the 87 Ricky Pierce. This one is really nicely centered top to bottom and left to right, so it's gem worthy. I see a little bit of light snowing right here. Snowing just means a little specks of white coming off of the card's ink a little bit. It usually comes out factory like that on 80s and 70s cards. Another flaw I noticed on some of these 87s is a little bit of ink left over on this vibrant white color on the back. So that might do me in, but I noticed other cards that had this, I still got 9s. So I'm still intrigued by this card. And I think it's at least still a 9. So we'll go ahead and crack it open and see what SGC gives it. It'll be interesting to see how much they dock for those little marks too. Okay, here we go. I'll crack them open, get them all in their card savers, and send them out to Boca. Luckily, the special they got going on right now is for 70s and 80s cards. Perfect for these cards, only $12 per card. So that will help a little bit. All right, I got the SGC order back. And here we go. We're going to start off with that Greg Anderson. So it got the 6 like you saw. Here it is. It got the SGC 9, mint 9. I think that's an accurate grade. And that is a 3-point grade bump. And I would say anything over a 2 grade bump, they did me dirty. So on this particular card, PSA did me dirty. I want my money back. Just kidding. But yeah, they should have graded this one higher. Got a mint 9 on the Greg Anderson. Fun fact about Greg Anderson. Someone commented in an earlier video. His name was Cadillac. And I looked it up. It was because in college, apparently he rode around on a bicycle everywhere. And all the teammates and his friends called his bicycle his Cadillac. So Greg Cadillac Anderson got the 9. Next up, we got the Buck Williams, 1987, very clean card, Fleer Buck Williams. He's one of my favorite players to play. I loved him on the Blazers. So, SGC, it was a 6, PSA. SGC gave it a 9.5. That's a pretty nice grade bump. What is that? 3.5 grade bump. So what did they do? They did me dirty. PSA did me dirty on this card again. Very nice card. 9.5. I like seeing that. Looks good framed up in the tux. Okay. Here we go. We got the Barry Carroll. I got a 7. And SGC gave it a 8.5. So, you know, I get that. The more I look at this card, it's a little bit of a tilt cut too. A little thinner there. And a little more off-center than I wanted. So, I think it's like an 8. I think PSA should give an 8. And that is only a 1.5 grade bump. So, I'm going to say they didn't do me dirty on this card. But I think they probably should give it an 8. Okay. Next up, The Ricky Pierce, they gave it a 7, and it got a 9. Nice. So yeah, mint 9. 2-grade bump. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say they did me dirty on this one too. Got a mint 9 from SGC. Nicely centered. Okay, so then one more, kind of a bonus one. If you remember in one of those orders, this Kevin Willis came back evidence of trimming, and PSA didn't grade it, and they charged me full amount. I obviously didn't trim it, and it didn't look trimmed to me. Maybe just min size, smaller if anything. Anyway, I figured it was sharp, I'd give it a shot with SGC, and they graded it, and they gave it a 9. So, nice grade, clean card, good to see it slabbed up. Give me my money back, PSA. There you go. So, honestly, at least 3 out of the 4, I think they did me dirty on. And I just think it really sucks that I got a bad grader on 2 of my big 1987 and 1988 basketball orders, because they were really sharp and well prepped by me. I mean, look at the cards I just showed you. If the 6 and 7s were actually 9s, then what the hell were all the 8s I got in those 2 orders? I'd say at least 9s, and should have been some 10s too. So it's kind of a real bummer, because what am I supposed to do? Crack out every card and resubmit back to them? I can't afford that. Plus, I run the risk of getting another bad grader again. And these are just common base players, so it's just not cost effective to resubmit these cards. On these type of cards, you really need to get the grader to get it right the first time. So, unfortunately, I just had to sell all my really nice 8s and 9s from those orders. But I will say, Nat Turner, if for some reason you watch my channel, I ask you to look up the grader who graded these 2 orders, 246-03623 and 246-51550. I don't want you to fire them or anything like that. I just want you to get them a little more training. Get them a little more on the same page, more consistent. Or go find that grader a cute girlfriend or something. Buy him a beer. Get him happy for us. All right. That was Did They Do You Dirty installment. Stay tuned for more videos like this. And I always appreciate you watching. Have a good day, everyone.